We are back with Hachsek, and I think today we're starting Mishnah Revi. I do apologize again for missing a few days, and I'm not going to go back because, at least for me, I felt like it was Yitzis Charabev. Say there was so many things that we touched on and we weren't able to elaborate. But I will make mention of something that I was really looking forward to, and unfortunately I missed that day. It was in Mishnah Yud Zayin. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah had a long Mishnah over here, but he brings a mashal. Okay, to an Ilan. And we know that, there's a lot to learn from the Ilan, a lot to learn from the tree. But before we actually read the Mishnah, you guys already read the Mishnah, but I'm coming back a little bit late. But if Adam Eitz Soda, let's try to just, picture this in our minds, okay? If I were to tell you, as a person, there are two very dominant factors of my life and about everybody's life, I think. A person's seichel and a person's actions, right? Now, if I were to ask you, before reading this Mishnah, if I were to ask you to simply, let's do like one of those things that they do in school for the little kids, with the lines, point to the thing. If I would ask you, in a tree, point to where the chachma is, and point to where the maisim are, right? So you would take a line and take from chachma, which is something that's not seen, you pashtus, at least I would, take the chachma and you would point it to the roots, because the roots are buried under the ground. And you would take the maisim, which is things that you do, things, you show the world. I'm saying, this is your actions, this is who you are, correct? And you would do that, and you would point that to the anofim, to the branches, to the leaves, to the this. And when you read this Mishnah, it should be merafsin igra for you, because he says lemahu doimet to kol shechachmasay meruba mimaisa is leilun sha'anofav merubim b'sharashav mu'atim. You hear that? Sha'anofav merubim, that's chachma. And Chachmasa is Yosher Mimaisav, Meruba Mimaisav, his Maisim are like the roots. So I don't know. If you didn't have this question, so then good for you. But if you had this question, this Mishnah should be Merafsin Igra. I can't go on to explaining this. This is not even my question. This is the question of my Rebbe, Reb Ruven Leuchter Shlita, Rabbi Isai. I don't know why the Welt doesn't know. Reb Ruven is a giant of giants. Today he's one of the Gdolim, in my opinion. He's one of the big Chachamim of the Dor, and he's a Madrich Hador. Chaparai and Pasha, get to know him. He has a website. It's meihadas.com. Type in Ruven Leuchter into Google. You'll get there. All of the shiurim are there. It's not something that I have and that I don't, I'm hiding it from anybody. You can learn his Torah. You can learn from him. And you will only be gained from that. That's whatever. There's no secret. Meyadas.com. Enjoy that. We're starting with Mishnah Aleph and Perik Dalad. Who is a smart man? Who is a chacham? Shenemar mikol melamadai iskalti. A person who's smart, somebody who wants to learn from everybody else. Like it says in the Pasuk in Tilim, Mikol melamdai hiskalti. I became a sachal. I became a sachal, which is, we said once, is the shoyrish of hiskalti, is sachal with a sin, and that is seichel be'etzem. Where did I get seichel from? All of those who taught me. So again, we have a reference here to the dispute, right, between the whole Sefer Mishlei Kemat is a dispute between the Chacham and the Ksil. Those are the two polar opposites. A Chacham is someone who learns from Kol Davar. He's thirsty for Chachma. We'll see the Rebbeinu is thirsty for Chachma, so he'll get it from anywhere. And the Sachal, right, the Ksil, which is Be'etzem a Sachal, he is a person that's very smart also. But he's not interested in learning from other people. He's not interested in learning. He's interested in knowing. He's interested in having everything arois klor from the beginning. Okay? And that's why he's a ksil, because his seichel, which is brilliant, is backwards. So a chacham is a person who becomes a sachal. He becomes a pure seichel. How? By wanting to learn. And that urge of wanting to learn will force the person to learn from his surroundings, from everything and anybody. Says the Rabbeinu Yoina, Amru chachmei ha'umais, ki ha'idea kol ha'chachmes, im eino oyeves ha'chachma eineno chacham. So it's not even Torah. Chachmas ha'umais. They say a person who knows everything, but he doesn't love chachma, eineno chacham. Because a person who yearns and loves chachma, he is going to want more and always better himself. They continue saying that a person who knows a lot, but he doesn't have a taiva for chachma, is a tipesh. A person who loves the chachma and he has taiva for it, even though he doesn't know anything now. What do you want in life? Now, you're not the smartest guy, but if you are crazy about chachma, you get impressed by a davar chachma, you will become a chacham. It's just a matter of time. Gam yesh ba be'ava azois to'el shniya. There's another thing with this ava for chachma. Ki avasa b'chachma le'niyasa ela mitoch yir'asa b'Hashem misala. Really, this chachma for Torah and for chachamel is rooted in the person's yiras shamayim. Shezeh oiv haneman mis'ava b'chachma amitis v'reiches chachma yiras Hashem. Nimtzes oimer ki oiv chachma yirei es dvar Hashem. A person who loves chachma is yorei dvar Hashem. V'zeu sham Shlomo HaMelech al v'shalom im tevakshena ka'kesef v'chamat moinim tach pesena. If you want chachma like you want money, then you will find it. Oz tavin yiras Hashem. Ratzolemer im tevakesh chachma shi ikar oilam v'tisave elekim mashat misave hakesef. You will want chachma like you want money. Shehu hevel oz tavin yiras Hashem. Then you will understand yiras Hashem. Al kolpanim tasig el chachma amitis. Sheman tavin yiras Hashem v'das elekim timtzak. So the chachma, there's a maila, he says. Yesh ba tayelis shniya. Not only will you become chacham, the soif pasuk of the chachma will bring you to yiras Hashem. Because at the end of the day, that is true chachma. The Rabbeinu Shalom, the Torah, the Ruchnias, that is what true chachma is all about. And memela, if a person is mis'avel chachma, he will end up by yiras Hashem. By yiras Hashem. V'alzeh Amr ben Zayma ezu chachma alam mikoladam shekachu kol kachu oyev esachachma mis'avel lea sheshoel chalodam v'avle mishe'enu yodea ki im davar echad levad yilmad oysem imenu. Guy knows one thing, you'll learn it from him. V'oz yatzich es derocha v'oz yaskil. V'alzeh nikra chacham. Shenemer mikom lamda iskalti shekeinu mer David HaMelech shelomad mikol adam. David HaMelech was made on himself. He learned from everybody. He didn't say, this guy doesn't know as much as me. From everybody he learned and he became smart. A person lost an object. He's going to ask everybody, do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Who are these people? They have your thing. They have a chachma. They have something that you want. So you ask them for it. Just like a person's physical strength is the maila of his goof, kach koyach haneshama hi mailas kvish hayetzer. The neshama is a naya bria, it's a different bria, and it also has a specialty, a koyach. What makes it a grace in neshama? Gvuras haguf is that kilkulam yesh koyach lamasois. Kach koyach haneshama hi mailas kvish hayetzer. Gvuras haguf shu koyach ba'odam. Everybody has strength, physical strength, to carry heavy loads. Ben Zayma is not talking about the gvura of the goof, because that's the same thing by behemoths. What's the ikar gvura? The gvura of the lay, the gvura of the neshama. So now he says, in the lave, you have two gvuras. Number one gvura is that, like, not being afraid and going out to war and not being afraid. Vegam kvisha seyetzer. V'hi nechlekas bein adam v'behema. These two koiches, which are, they're like nafshius. They're the same thing by the adam and the behema. Ki gam lebehema is gvuras alev. They also have gvuras alev. So again, we're not talking about gvuras aguf, and even gvuras alev, which is epis shayach to a behema when he goes out to war, that also Ben Zayim is not talking about. What yes are we talking about? Who kovesh es yitzuri. Ki agibar b'melchama einenu davar gadol kol kach. That's not so big. It's just like b'nei Adam. Ki lahem koyach gam lazeh chozka. Im limdu yedem lakrav. Gam zeh bezol melchama. Ach kvishas hayetzer ha'orer leish al panav lavidoi. But the kvishas hayetzer, which is out to get you all the time, when Mem Shalom Mitzuyim Galas Halaguf, he Gvura Nizgov v'Chazok Shaish Mizgaber Lo v'Kovish Yitzur. Yeah, that's the real Gvura, and that is what Ben Zayma is telling over here. Shenemar Toiv Erech Apayim Migibor U'Moishal Baruch Milechid Ir. So Erech Apayim is bigger than a Gibor. Again, by Milchama U'Moishal Beruchai Milechid Ir. Somebody who conquers a whole land, a person who is Moishal on his Yetzer is even stronger than that. Erech Apayim Nikra Marich Apay Ve'ein Ritzayna Lihinake Miyad. Erech Apayim, what does that mean? Says Rabbeinu Yoina, somebody doesn't want to take revenge right away. Somebody hurt you, you'll wait for the right time. Somebody who's a true kasan, he has revenge right away, or at least he wants to do it right away. And he's ruining his maisim and he's doing it without thinking. He has kas, and he's not moichel. But meniach es hadavar linkoim achar zman. Yoiser hu gvuras alev min hagibar b'milchama shegam beloy das yeh gibar leilochem. You don't need das to fight a war. You just have to be a gibar. Acham moichel beruchei shu yoiser merech hapayim ki mitercha kas hu moichel masher yoreh es Hashem. So that's another darga. So there's one thing still being bekas, but pushing it off. And then you have somebody who is moichel beruchei shu yoiser merech hapayim ki mitercha kas hu moichel masher yoreh es Hashem hu gibar miloichet ir af al pi. Sheyesh loy shnei dvarim gvur salei b'chachma k'mo shenemar ir gibarim Allah chacham v'yered oiz mivtecha ki b'gvur salei b'chachma be'etzah nechoyne yilkod ha'ayoros ki al zeh nemar etzah ugvur l'melchama Moshel Baruchai godoil v'chashuv mikol zeh. Somebody who's Moshel Baruchai, he's bigger than all this. V'nimtza koivesh es yitzar mikol davaram. He is koivesh himself from all bad things, from the kas, from the nekama miyad and the kas itself. I think that's what the Rebbeinu Yoina is trying to say over here, and that's today's piece. Mitzvah Hashem, I hope to be back every day, like we used to. Okay, Hatzlacha Rabba, everybody.